Good evening, guys. I'm WUSA Season 3, Episode 100. It is the second half of my Monday episode. I am back at the casino I went to this morning where I lost 1,500 on the blackjack and made 1351 on the slots. So I'm just parking my car in the parking garage here and getting ready to go into the casino and see if we can get some of that money back. And, we'll see. So right now it is evening, about 8:30. I am going into the casino and I'll come back and update you, let you know what's going on. All right, guys, I'm back. That was about 3 hours. I don't know, maybe, maybe slightly more than 3 hours. So I walk in, I go directly to the high limit blackjack, which was not open earlier when I came here. I go in, and they have at least 3 double deck blackjack tables open with about 40 card penetration. It stays hit 17. Anyway, it doesn't matter, all that stuff. Good rules. $100 minimum and 5,000 max. So I decide to play that. I sit down, I buy in for 500 and lose it in the first 5 hands. By the end of the first double deck shoe, I'm down 1,200. And then from there, it just kind of bops around there for a very, very, very long time. But the main thing that happens is I'm slowly losing money. And I'm right away, after I had my second rebuy, the pit boss was like on me. So he's watching everything I'm doing, typing stuff in, going on the phone, coming back. And it was at that point that I decided, if I get backed off, I'm getting backed off, because I may never come here ever again. So I don't really care. Do it whatever you want. It's an Indian casino. I don't care. So, I should care about them stealing my money, but I decided that I'm going to spread 100 to 900 because I was told to keep it under 1,000. So 100 to 900, one hand. I'm not going to 2 hands. I'm not doing anything funny. Just a basic 1 to 9 spread. So really nothing is going well on this table. And it's just a slow drain, and everything goes wrong that could go wrong. And I'm down like $3,000 real early, like within the first 20 minutes or so. And then that pit boss leaves, and this lady comes to the table. She is very nice, black lady, very nice, and we're talking and discussing. Now, she could still be sneaky. Doesn't mean that she's not being sneaky, and she doesn't mean like she's not watching. But when the guy was coming around, I was starting the shoes off with numbers that I normally wouldn't, right? So just to try to throw that off, just like I did earlier. So eventually things are getting worse and worse, and soon, like, me and her are discussing my game. So like I'm saying, okay, next shoe, if this happens, I'm going all in, and things like that. And she's like, no, you're gonna go all in. And so I'm just setting it up for, no, I'm not feeling it. Okay, now I'm feeling it. I'm doing it. And I'm doing these things. And long story shorter, at least, I get to a point, at one point I was down, with the last rebuy that I did, I was down 5,000 even. And I had like a true 12, right? About 3/4 of a deck to go. It's going to be like the last hand. and I said, I'm going all in. I have exactly 900 in front of me. And every once in a while, when I noticed that aces weren't coming out, I started keeping track of them, which is very easy to do on double deck, obviously. If you don't know how, then something's wrong. I mean, there's only 8 of them, so I end up going all in for the 900, and I get a blackjack, which took the dealer a minute to figure out how much that is. $13.50, 900 plus half of 900, which is $4.50. And I even broke it down for him like 3 different ways before he understood what I was talking about. But that hand there propelled me to hang around $2,000 level for about 20 minutes. And then I hung around the $3,000 level for about 20 minutes. And then I hung around the $4,000, between $3,000 and $4,000 level for about 10 or 15 minutes. And then I finish a shoe, I'm ahead $50. So I'm at $5,050. And I'm like, you know what? I'm not going to stop. I got to keep going here. I mean, I got to give this thing a shot. I've done all this. I'm not going to leave ahead $50. I play 3 more shoes, and I end up leaving ahead $100. So now I'm at a Indian casino, a big one, but still an Indian casino. And I have $5,100 in $100 chips. I push them in to get them colored up. Now remember, the other casino would not, even in the high limit, would not color up $100 chips if you're playing unrated. This one would. And I said, can you give me $500 chips? Which kind of look purple at this place, but not really. And the pit boss says, give him a $5,000 chip. I said, no, I don't want a $5,000 chip. I want $500 chips. And she finally got me, and she said, okay, fine. And then I said, am I going to have a hard time cashing this out? She said, no. I said, are they going to ask me for ID? Because I left it in the car. I can go get it right now. She goes, well, I don't know. I said, well, I better go grab it. And I said goodbye, because the cashier was like 3 steps behind me in the high limit room. Like, my back was to the cashier the whole time. So they saw me playing with that amount. Surely they're going to ask me for ID. Well, as it turns out, there are 4 other cashiers at this place. And I went around and I did 1,600, 1,500, 1,500, and 500, and got rid of all my chips. And I was playing slots after that, and I hung around 0 for a very long time. And I was getting ready to leave. I make a play, and I end up ahead $250 on the slots. So I was up $250, and then I'm getting ready to cash out, and I see a play, and that was a mistake. That play took me from plus 250 to minus 1,100 before it finally paid me like 11 something, 1146, 1166, something like that. And I ended up down like $100 at that point. Walk around, look at a couple other things, find a few more plays. I spent almost as much time on the slots as I did on the blackjack. And finally, I ended up leaving ahead only 19 on the slots. So in about an hour and 35, hour 40 minutes on blackjack, spreading from 100 to 900, my low for the session was minus 4,500. My high for the session was plus 200 maybe, and I left plus 100. And on slots, I left plus only 19. And I think for the day, the 3 stops that I made, I'm like minus $20 or $30, maybe less. So after all that time, all that energy, all that heat, all that putting money out, it was one of those days. And, you know, I ended the day down like $20 or $30, whatever it is. So right now it's after midnight, which makes it Tuesday morning. I'm going to head back to the hotel, and then I am going to the actual funeral for this person, and then I think I don't want to stay in town. I really don't. I'm going to think it over here overnight, but I don't think I want to stay in the area. The casinos are okay, but the Indian casino aspect does not make me that happy, and just haven't had the best success. And I think maybe a change of venue would be better for me. So I'm going to check out Google Maps tonight, see what other casinos are nearby. I know there are a bunch. And then I have to decide, after the funeral, we probably have lunch. So it'll probably be like 2 or 3 before I'm free to do whatever I want. And at that point, I'm going to have to let a friend of mine in Vegas know if I need to borrow a room for the night or if I'm staying in this area. So it's still up in the air. I'm still not sure which way I'm going to go with that, but we'll figure it out later on. So right now, I'm letting you go. Gonna go to sleep. Oh, I did get some Chinese food while I was in there. They had like a kiosk that you could order from, and I was starving. I hadn't eaten in so long. So I got like the biggest thing they had, which was like vegetable fried rice, lo mein noodles, and then 3 different things like kung pao chicken, pepper steak, and some kind of curry chicken, I believe. And I thought it was going to be kind of small, but it's actually pretty big. I finished about half of it, and I'm taking half of it to the hotel. And so anyway, about 1 a.m. right now. I'll be back and let you know what happens. All right, good morning, guys. It is 8:30 in the morning, and I am just getting off the highway to go back to the funeral home for the actual funeral. And I suspect most likely what's going to happen is we're probably going to go have lunch afterward. I'm not sure. They did ask me when I would be leaving town, and I said sometime tonight. So that's probably what's going to happen. If it doesn't happen, I'm not too worried about it. I've got plenty of stuff to keep me busy. I think by my calculations, I actually ended up ahead slightly yesterday, maybe around $20 or so, and $7.50 or so the day before. So, not terrible. Could have been a lot worse. I got myself into a lot of holes the last 2 days and was able to dig out of them a lot more than made me comfortable, but that's what happens. So what are you going to do? You got to go with the flow. So still, everything is still up in the air. I think what I did decide, though, is if I go back to their town, I will probably hit one casino on the way back this way, because going to Vegas passes through this area. It's actually an hour out of the way to go to where they live. So I would go to that other casino. And I only ended up going to 2 different casinos while I was here, but I would go back to that first casino that I saw on the highway, and there they have a gas station on Indian land. So instead of $4.99 for regular, it's like $4.15 or somewhere around there. So I would probably get gas for the long trip that I have ahead. So I still have half a tank, but if you're getting a $1 discount, you might as well go for it. So right now I am in this small town here, really nice town, palm trees lining the road here, and heading off to see the family, and then I'll be back to update you in a few hours. All right, guys, I'm back. So finished up all that family stuff, and there was a get-together at the funeral home after everything. I was there with my cousin, and he said, why don't we just leave me and him and his wife and just head toward their home, which is about an hour away, which is fine with me. My kids wanted some souvenirs from that city anyway, so we're going to head over to their place, and then we're going to have lunch and talk and all that kind of stuff and go get souvenirs, and then he'll be on his way, I'll be on my way. and he has to leave home by 4:30, so that'll be good for me. I will stop at the casino and I'll get gas from there, and then I'll probably head toward Vegas. And I would probably get to Vegas between, I don't know, 10 and midnight, just depending on, I don't know, maybe later, just depending on stops and traffic and things like that. So I'll figure it out as I go along here. I still need to let my friend know if I'm going to be staying there or not, but I'll be in touch with him in a little bit, let him know my plans, and then figure things out from there. So right now, heading to this other town, about an hour away, an hour further from Vegas, and then I'll be back and let you know how things are going. Alright guys, I am back. It is hours later, many hours later. So I actually followed one of my cousins over to his house, and we hung out there for a while and talked, and his wife was there, and eventually one of his kids came home, and just had a really good time talking. And he said, why don't we go somewhere and get a bite to eat? So we went to it's a restaurant, but it's called like a fish market, but it's actually a restaurant. You can see all the fish in the window there, and then you can pick what you want, and they'll make it for you. And we had this thing they call like a Hawaiian special. It was like 2 kinds of fish with pineapple and shrimp, and then we had him add Cajun seasonings on top of that, and then he got some garlic bread. I have no idea why. And then also some fried shrimp and some French fries, and this special sauce that they have that you dip this stuff in. That was just delicious. Had a great time. Talked to him for a long time, and it was really a lot of fun. And then he said, well, you still have a little bit of time before you fly out, because I said that I was flying out of town. I didn't want to say, hey, I came to the funeral, and by the way, I'm ducking out of town early so I can go gamble, you know? So we were driving down the main street there, this little town, and he says, well, you know, you have a little bit of time left. You want to go to this casino over here? And I was like, really? I'm like, well, I just have to tell you, at home I'm not allowed at my casino because I win too much. So we can go in there, I can show you a couple things, but I don't suggest you play very much. And he's like, you know, it's probably been 5 or 6 years since I even set foot in here. I don't even know how to play anything. You know, he plays Ultimate Texas Hold'em, and that's it. He's never played a slot machine, never played any other table games, never played roulette or anything like that. So I said, okay. So we go into this place, and we're walking around. And this place is a smaller place. It's, you know, I had machines, but it's not huge. I would say, whatever, 20,000 square feet, something like that. So walking around, I'm checking, and I'm checking, I'm checking, I'm checking. There is nothing. This place is completely wiped out. All the must-hit-by jackpots are at reset levels. Everything is basically at reset levels. So we walked around for probably 20 minutes and couldn't find the play. Finally, I found a borderline play. I'm like, well, I'm probably going to lose a couple bucks on this, but let me just show you, explain how this works. So I put a 20 in there, and then on the first spin, it put itself in a position where it became profitable. I played it through. I was ahead like 11 bucks, right? So he's like, well, that's all. You know, I wanted to see some more. So I took him to this other game. I said, look, this game right here is not in position yet. You're going to lose between $50 or win up to $60 or $70 if you want to risk it. So he said, all right, let's do it. I just want to see how it is. I've never played before. So he stuck a $100 bill in, and he lost that. It was like $1.60 a spin. So he lost his 100. I stuck 100 in. It's getting closer now. Now it's Profitsville, you know, profitable area. So I lose that 100, and he's like, let's go, let's get out of here. I'm like, no, I don't think you understand. It's gonna hit. It's very close to hitting. I put in another 100 within like 2 spins. It hit. We got all our money back except for like $40. So I take the voucher out. This was like a new voucher that we made together, and so I still had my other $30 one. So I take the voucher, I hand him a $100 bill, and he won't take it. I'm like, look, we only lost like $40, you know, so you lose 20, I lose 20, just take the 100, it's not a big deal. I won like 11 on the other one, just take the money. And he wouldn't take the money. He goes, I'm not taking my money back unless you're winning. If you're losing, I don't want any money at all. You keep the whole 100. I'm like, no, you don't understand. I know what I'm doing here. Don't sweat it. Everything's fine. Just take the money. And he won't do it. So I'm like, okay, well, I have a play. There's a couple table games. There's a little trick where you don't exactly have the advantage, but you know, for one spin or whatever, you know, you can have you could be a slight favorite, even though the EV is negative. Let's just say that. He said, okay, so we tried one, and the dealer was so slow. We just did it for $5. The dealer was so slow. I'm like, there's no way. I'm not doing this. So we walked away, and we went to a different one, and played there. I ended up getting back the money that we had lost, and we were ahead like whatever, 20 something dollars. And so I gave him his 100. He finally took the 100. We had recovered all our money, and we ended up leaving there. And we had just a good time talking about stuff like that and his experiences and things. And he's never really gambled. He has an account with like an offshore bookie guy, you know, probably someone down the street. And in California, it's against the law to bet on sports, so you have to use a bookie. So that's what he does, but he doesn't really use the account. And we talked about different kinds of betting on sports and, you know, things that people do and how amazing it is with technology now, how things are and all that. And I went back to his house again and talked for a little while longer. His wife came back, then she had to leave and pick up another kid. And then another cousin came over, and he's like, well, you came to his house, why don't you come to my house? I'm like, I had told them, you know, I had to be at the airport at a certain time. They're like, the airport's closed, don't worry about it. I'm like, the rental car, I have to return the rental car. They're like, don't worry about it, it's close. So I go to the other guy's house and hung out with him and met his wife and two little kids, beautiful little kids, a boy and a girl. And the first cousin had a boy and a girl as well, but they're about 7 or 8 years older each than these guys. And he had this little tiny dog, this little fluffy little dog that just loved to be pet, was crawling all over me trying to get pet and stuff, and talked to him for a little while, and you know, we hugged each other and said goodbye, and he said he'd come out to the Midwest and visit us soon and stuff like that. So it was a really good experience, a really touching experience, and you know, had a lot of fun talking to them, and they're really, really good people. My family, most of the people in my family, and we're talking about nationwide, we're talking about hundreds and hundreds of people, are such good people. They would do anything for you. They would, you know, feed you, clothe you, give you anything that you need. I got offered drinks, I got offered food. The first cousin's wife put fruit on a plate for me. She cut it up, strawberries, watermelon, honeydew melons. The other one, she was running to the kitchen to try to make something. I'm like, please, I just want to hang out with you guys. I don't need anything from you. I just want to hang out and talk, and it was all good. So at that point, I got on the road, and the temperature there was like 95, 96, somewhere in there. And in Southern California, there's all these regions of valleys and mountains and, you know, all these different things. And I said, all right, I'm going to head off to Vegas. I started heading toward Vegas. I had about 180 miles worth of gas left. So I thought I was good for a little while until I found the gas station. And so I'm calling home and letting them know how things went and all that. And we have relatives in Las Vegas now. And they're very nice people. But I really don't have time to visit with them. and they always say, "Oh, you were in Vegas, you didn't come over to visit with us." They want to hang out and have lunch and a long day and waste your, not waste, but take a lot of your day. And I'm going to be working 20-hour plus days while I'm in Vegas. I can't be taking hours and hours off. So I told my mom, hey, if anybody calls, if she calls, if he calls, tell them that I came home. I'm not going to Vegas. If anyone calls, I went home. So got all that sewn up and talked to a couple other people in the family, let them know that, and I started driving to Vegas. And we're talking about many, many hundreds of miles to Vegas. And I've been driving for about 3 hours already, still have hours to go, and driving through the desert. But before I got to the big desert, I went through some mountains, and the temperature fell down to like 76 degrees. And now, 3 hours later, it's back up to 90 degrees. The sun is down, and it's still 90 degrees in the desert. I found a gas station. I had to go to the bathroom so bad. Found this gas station, only, I want to say, I can't believe I'm saying it, like $4.85 a gallon. And I had to go to the bathroom so bad. I ran in there, and the bathroom's locked. And I'm like, somebody in there? Yeah, he's been in there like 15 minutes. I'm like, oh, Lord, I got to go. So I grab a couple drinks. I go to the register, pay for them. I'm like, can you, knock on the door or something? He knocks on the door, and the guy's like, I'm taking a, what? And he's like, yeah, right. He's probably doing drugs in there or something. I'm like, okay, I guess I'm leaving. So I leave and head off, and I drive quite a long way after that, just trying to get somewhere. I got gas at that gas station, but I'm trying to get to a bathroom, and finally, over 100 miles later, I'm able to find a decent bathroom. I went into this 7-Eleven I found in the middle of nowhere. I got a cheese stick thing and a peanut butter and jelly, those Uncrustable type things, but like a generic version of that. And I'm back on the road again. And like I said, the sun is down right now, and I'm still a few hours away from Vegas. And I'm enjoying myself. The scenery is just breathtaking, beautiful scenery. It's amazing, the creation that is around us, and how lucky we are to live in a country that has mountains and valleys and snow and rain and heat and cold and skiing and swimming all in the same country, and such a vast, huge, open area with so much space and so much freedom. And we should definitely not take it for granted. That's for sure. So anyway, right now I am on whatever the heck this road is, heading off to Vegas. I'm on 15 North, heading to Vegas right now, and should be there in a few hours. I'm going to go ahead and call my friend who's there now and let him know I'm going to be arriving kind of late, and I'm not sure if I'm going to sleep or if I'm going to play. We'll see how I feel when I get there, and I'll at least find out where he's staying tonight and if he has an extra bed or not, and continue on. If anything happens, I'll let you know. Otherwise, next time you hear from me, I'll be in Vegas. Alright guys, I'm back. You know what? I am totally confused. I don't know what I was thinking. I totally miscalculated. I thought I was going to be in Vegas Wednesday. I don't know what the heck I thought. I thought I had room Wednesday through Sunday, but I don't have that. I have Thursday, Friday, and Saturday night, and today's only Tuesday, so I need Tuesday night and Wednesday night also. So I'm way off here. So I called out to Vegas to a great friend of mine that you guys all know, which is Coach. Coach is in Vegas right now because Caesars has like a 5x multiplier going on right now, and it's going to be very busy, I know for a fact. But he's like, tell me again what nights you have. And I told him, and I'm like, oh man, I thought I only needed one night, but I need two. So he's like, don't worry about it. Let me see. He's got Caesars 7 stars, and he's got, I think he said, he's staying in Sam's Town, and he's got some other places. So Boulder Station, I think he said. So maybe he can get me a room at one of those. I kind of used everything I had at the same time, because that's when I thought I was there, and I had a room on all points of the strip, the north, the south, and the middle. So he's going to check and let me know, and we'll start our adventure once I get to Vegas. I think at this point, let's publish this episode, and we'll start the new episode as a Vegas episode. I guess, do I want to put my win? I think it was like $30. All right, we'll call it $30. I had 11 on the one machine, and I think about 20 more. I'll just put it as $30 other, because it wasn't all machine on my spreadsheet. And we'll start a new episode, and it'll be Vegas Part 1 episode, and it'll be starting here in just a few minutes. So letting you go for now, and if you have any questions or comments, as always, the email is mwusa21@gmail.com, mwusa21@gmail.com. See you next time.